Hello everyone, it's Pastor Lon here, my beautiful wife Rob Lynn over there, and Farmer Bradley in the middle. Tell him, hey Bradley.
Hello, talking camera.
Hello, talking camera. But we had shared with y'all this past Thursday night that Monday was today, January 23rd, 2023 was Bradley's 8-year anniversary for him receiving his kidney. But this is when it actually started on the 23rd, late that night. But it actually rolled over. His actual surgery date was January 24th, 2015. So with that being said, like I said, we said we was going to share this with you also. We hope it's a blessing unto you. I will tell you right off the bat, we're going to share some pictures. I'm going to try to insert some pictures at the end, a little short video of Bradley ringing the, what do they call that thing, Robin?
Transplant bell.
Transplant bell. That's for those that are getting to go home after the transplant and they get to ring that bell. And that's any transplant.
Yeah. Pancreas. Well, the floor he was on was kidney and pancreas. There was another floor for heart.
Right. But
You
you get to ring that bell and everybody celebrates. That was an awesome day. But I'll share a little clip of that video at the end, as well as Robin's got we got an article here. It was right up in the paper down there about how it all transpired with the troopers that helped get us there with the tire blowing out on the car and all that. But she's going to try to leave the link where y'all can click on it. And what do you want to say about that? You going to leave that link? Where do they need to go for that? For certain pages?
can flip the pages, and it's, I think, 6 and 8. Page 6 and 8.
Okay, page 6 and 8 on the link we'll leave below. It gives you I guess this is the title of it. In the nick of time, troopers deliver.
Yeah.
So y'all check that out if you will. It's a very touching and emotional story. I just read it again a few minutes ago, and it's very emotional. Very grateful for what they've done.
But because of those two troopers, MUSC started a program every year now where they give out an award.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it called? Angels?
I just read that.
Angels on the Interstate is what they were called. That's what Lon called them. And they got MUSC that day that Bradley received his kidney, they started a program each year now. They give out that award to special people that help with the kidney transplant. Yeah,
I'm looking over. It's in here. I just read it a little bit ago. Here you go. For their acts of kindness, they were presented the Transplant Angel Award.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Transplant Angel Award.
Yeah. So, because when they interviewed us, that's what I told them. I felt like they were angels on the interstate because they showed up at just the right time to bail us out.
Yeah, we were on a couple news channels that week.
Yep.
I don't know how many of them. But.
Yeah. But quit hiding your face, bro. You need to be able to see you. And Brad, I caught him in that sleep. I had to wake him up and do this little video. He's in there snoring. So I want to start it out for how it all transpired, Robbie. I need your memory now.
You tell me, mister. I'm going back to bed.
Yeah, that's how it happened. We can't remember for sure. It's been 8 years ago.
I'm thinking it was on a Wednesday, and we came in after church and checked the answer machine. That's how long it's been. We had a
answer machine, a hard line phone, house phone. Yeah.
And they told us, well, he had been on the transplant list for what, 2 years maybe?
Maybe that, or at least that long, maybe a little longer. Yeah.
And we thought nothing about it because we didn't ever see it coming to fruition because Bradley wasn't. His lab showed that he was going down, but actually he never complained. He never showed us any signs that he was feeling, he was getting kind of.
He never complained about it though.
As far as that, we didn't see an issue of urgency because, he didn't ever complain, but.
We didn't realize how bad it was until he got the kidney and it started making him better.
The difference, so we saw the difference. But see, we didn't, until we got the call and they said, we need you to call us back because we think we have found a match for Bradley, a kidney transplant. And I said, and I didn't call him back. I said,
it's one of those things where you're waiting on
like,
it.
in total.
But when you get the call, it's like,
what do we do?
Yeah.
So we didn't call him back at that moment. But then they called back again after we got home and got settled and said, we're going to need y'all. First of all, they told us, we're going to need y'all down here by 12.
That night.
As soon as possible that night. And I'm thinking, I told him, but we were already told this. Once they call, you got to be ready to go.
Yeah.
But
Drop and run.
yeah. But we wasn't. So
So
we told them we had to make arrangements because we had 3 other kids and stuff like that. And they said, okay, we'll call you back at, was it 12:30?
Something like that.
They were going to call us back and give us all the nail everything down about when we needed to be there and stuff like that, and give us time to get everybody situated. Well, in the meantime, my husband chooses to go get in the bed.
Man, this ain't what we need to be doing. I
said, what are you doing? He was just laying there.
Because I knew the deal where, he needed the kidney, but I also had been told what they do with the old kidneys to get the new kidney. And then you start thinking, well, if they cut the old kidneys loose and
yeah, because what they do is when you get your kidney, they clip the other 2, which he only had maybe, his together was maybe 1 functioning kidney.
Right, because it gotten down to 10% kidney function.
So they cut that, and then there's no more. It's either your body accepts this one, or you don't.
Right, and that's what run through my mind is, look, he's still, living. He's may not be where he needs to be, but he can go on dialysis. I'm thinking all that. But I guess being a little selfish, a little fearful, doubting, what are you going to call it? But it was all those emotions run through on my mind that night. But then they called back.
Knew after he got the kidney, he would have to be on medication the rest of his life.
Yeah. So
it's real scary. It was real scary.
A lot to process in a little bit of time. And it wasn't like they told us today and we could pray about it, think about it, and be there next week. Man, we had to make a decision right then, and that's what we
had to call around and get some people to come and stay with our other kids.
Yeah.
And my mama wasn't able to go with us because she had to help out back home and stay with them.
Yeah.
So, and they called us back at I think it was around 12:30.
Something like that.
And told us to be there at 5:30.
5:30.
5:30. And it takes us what to get there?
It's 140 miles away. It took us like between 2 and 2.5 hours, I think, is what we figured out, especially with the traffic and everything in Charleston.
So we loaded up and headed that way, and I'll let him.
Well, we loaded up and headed that way, and I don't know how long we'd had the car. Your car is what year model? 11? 2011?
We got in 2012.
We got in 2012. The new car, you figured it had a spare tire. I should have probably checked it, but I didn't. I just assumed the brand new car has got a spare tire. Well, we headed out down I-95 from Darlington, South Carolina, headed to Charleston, South Carolina. And we got on the bridge, the Santee River Bridge. And on the top of the bridge, probably right before we got to the top of the bridge.
I hate bridges, by the way.
Yeah, she hates bridges anyway. We got to the top of that bridge. I felt something, but I didn't say anything. I just kind of started slowing down a little bit because I didn't want to freak her out. But I felt something, just didn't feel right. And then, wasn't but just a few seconds after that,
he freaked me out.
The tire exploded. It just so happened it was on the back. It was on the back passenger side. Was it driver's side?
Yeah.
Why had my mind on the passenger side? But anyway, the back tire blew out on the driver's side, and I had to really break it down in and limp on across the bridge. 18-wheelers just bearing down on us, and they were going around us, of course.
During that time, it wasn't as
busy as it could have been, but that's when 18-wheelers were pretty active out there. But anyway, it wasn't like rush hour.
Yeah.
But I still had to limp across there, and just so happened right on the other side of that bridge is a rest area. So we pulled in the rest area. It was lighted and everything, had pretty good light out there. But I pulled over and just stopped for a minute. And I think that's when I got out and checked for the spare tire, and we couldn't find the spare tire. So my first reaction was to call Star HP. I was praying the Lord help us to make the right decision. We sitting here beside the interstate, still got a long way to go to get him to a life-saving surgery. And so I called Star HP. But in the meantime, they didn't write that about the article. There was a deputy that came from Santee Police right there close. So he came and actually sat with us to stay with us for our safety until Highway Patrol sent Corporal Antonio Brown. He was the first trooper that got there to us on 95. And anyway, he got there. He loaded Rob Lynn and Bradley in the back of the it was a Crown Vic is what he was driving. And
that's one of those big long.
Yeah. He put those Bradley Robbie in the back, and I sat in the front with him on the passenger side. We got just a few pieces of luggage to take with what we had to have. So I had to leave my Robbie Lynn's car beside the interstate. But that was the least of our worries. So we got in there with him, and he struck out toward I-26 on I-95, heading towards Charleston. That's actually headed towards Orangeburg, but we can get off on 26 to go into Charleston. And I can't remember what speed limit he was running. It's been so long. I had all that in my mind fresh for a while, but he didn't get over, I don't think, 100. He was running like 90-something mile an hour in that Crown Vic to get us down to I-26. Well, he was going to take us, I guess, all the way, but then, well, no, he was going to take us as far as his jurisdiction would let him.
Yeah.
Then he called another state trooper who was driving a Dodge Charger. He met us under the bridge at Interstate 95 and I-26. His name was Christian, Senior Trooper Christian Basal was his name. So we unloaded out of the Crown Vic into the Dodge Charger Highway Patrol car, and same thing. Robbie Lynn and Bradley in the back. I'm sitting riding shotgun in the front with Officer Basal, and he started trucking on about. He had the difference in his was a digital speedometer. Brother Brown, Corporal Brown, his was just a regular speedometer, but I couldn't really tell. I had to kind of look hard to see what he was running. But nevertheless,
I didn't.
We struck out down through there. Rob wouldn't look at it, but we struck out down through there, and we were moving pretty good, probably right around 90, close to 100 mile an hour. And it was. I'll never forget. It was going down I-26 toward Charleston. And then y'all seen those big orange barrels on the side of the road where they got construction work going on. Well, wasn't far down after we got going down 26, we ran into the road construction where they had those big barrels. And they wasn't doing a lot of work out there this time of night, but nevertheless, all the signage and the barrels and the cones are still out there. But anyway, he was riding along there pretty good, and he actually was going to take us to another state trooper. Remember, he got the call that he was going to take us to another state trooper because he was going to be out of his jurisdiction and relay us off again to the last one for the last leg of the drive. Well, he got a call and said that the other trooper had been called on an emergency 1050, which was an accident. So they said, you're going to have to take this family all the way. I never forget, it came across his radio. They said, you're going to have to take this family, get this family there on time. You're going to take them all the way to the doorstep of MUSC. And when they told him that, the speedometer went from like 100 mile an hour to, you remember what I told you?
116 maybe, something like that?
Yeah, it was like 116, 120, something like that. May have been a little higher than that at one time. And, NASCAR fan back in those days, I was just enjoying that ride. I couldn't believe I was getting to ride that fast down the interstate. But Robin's back there, I kept asking, you see how fast we're running? She's like, no, I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm not going to look. And she didn't look. But anyway, we was cruising on down through there, and the road got real narrow. Everybody's always told me you run that fast, it would get that way. So those orange cones were just zipping by us like a solid orange wall. He was cruising down through there. But anyway, we got on closer to Charleston, and what he would do, he would run up behind some people, and he would have to flash the light to get them to get over. He didn't really turn his siren and lights on till we got closer into town.
Well, he would turn his lights on when
just to get them to move.
Yeah, just to get them to move. But
he hit the blue light, and they wouldn't even get over. I guess they were scared stiff, and they wouldn't move. But anyway, either they would finally move, or he would dart out around them. But then when we got on into Charleston, if you know anything about Charleston, and if you don't, they got so many one-way streets down there. So anyway, long story short, he cranked it on down in there, and by the time we got there, then we had to be there by 5:30 that morning, and he got us there with 5 minutes to spare, so we figured to get a lot of traffic. So what he done then is he turned on the blue light, solid blue light, and he turned the sirens on, and it started parting like the Red Sea then. I'm like, yeah, look at this. So he was going down one-way streets, and people just getting out of his way, and he ended up pulled us right up there to the emergency room door of MUSC, and they came out there and was waiting on Bradley. They came out there and got him out and got him, took him on in, and they didn't do the surgery right then because, of course, you got to get him prepped.
Even though they said this was a match, he has to go through rigorous testing to still. It had to be, almost a perfect match before
it was one of those where they were like 95% sure, but it wasn't 100% sure.
Had to still go through all kinds of different testing on the kidney and his blood work to make sure. Because she told us while we were sitting there, she said, people just like y'all have gotten the call, come up here, did all this, and it turned out it was not a perfect
match.
what they call a perfect
They
match.
couldn't have the surgery.
They couldn't have, they had to go back home.
But it wasn't that way with Bradley. It
She's-
was a perfect
they
match.
told us it was almost a perfect match.
So help me
From
out
a
now.
23-year-old, right? 23-year-old male.
Yeah, the kidney came
That's
from
all they would tell us. A 23-year-old male.
23-year-old male that unfortunately lost his life, but he was a kid. He was an organ donor, and Bradley has his kidney. So we're
Because
very
when she
grateful
called
for
me
whoever that is.
that night, when she called back, not on the message, but when she talked to me personally, she said that they had the patient in surgery then. I'm assuming they were taking the organs out then. So, and it would be, I guess they put him in eye on ice or something
Yeah,
until the
do
patient.
whatever they do to preserve it.
See,
to
they
get it
can't
there.
keep it but so long. That's why
That's
it's
true,
urgent
too.
that you get there. If not, then they're gonna put somebody else in your
Yep.
in your
The
spot.
biggest thing with getting there on time was we had to
And
get there,
the stuff going.
get the stuff going. But if we hadn't got there on time, then maybe
Somebody
it
else
would have went to
would've-
somebody else. So, but anyway, help me out now with my memory. We got there and they started doing the testing. That was a long day.
Yeah,
That was probably the
I couldn't
longest day
hardly
of our
hold my
life
eyes
that
open
day.
that day.
We was tired, we were sleepy, we were hungry. But anyway, they started doing all the tests and
Well,
stuff.
different people came in from home. Some people, and then somebody from your job called, and they went and got my car.
Two of my fellow employees, I won't give their full names, but David and Bill, they came and got Rob Lynn's car and took it to the
Brought it
place
back to us.
to get the tire repaired,
Yeah, they were-
and then met me in Charleston. This is all was this after the surgery?
They were doing this while we were in waiting.
Okay. Anyway, they done that, and I met them, and they brought it to Charleston so we'd have our ride back. So we really appreciate David and Bill for doing that for us.
But then we were sitting there and waiting. So Lon says, "I'm going to get something to drink downstairs."
Yeah.
So he went downstairs, and the lady came in and said, "They're ready for us right now." And I'm texting Lon or calling or whatever and saying, "You better come on. They're taking him down." And he rushed back up there.
I did, but what got me when I got back there, though,
When they put him in the wheelchair to take him out, that's when
he started crying. I'm going to tell you right now. That about
Bradley,
tears me
he's
up
had
again.
so many procedures and surgeries before this, and he's never whimpered. It's just like,
So you can call it doubt in my mind or whatever you fear or whatever you want to call it. But when I seen him crying, I'm thinking God speaks to him a whole lot more than he does me. I'm wondering if he knows something we don't know. I'm fixing to lose my son during this whole process. I mean, I'm being open and honest and transparent with you. That's how I felt. I just didn't know. And when he broke down, of course, we broke down. And but we tried to be strong for him. I tried to gather back together and
they took
encourage
us
him.
to the waiting area down in the surgery unit.
Yeah.
And when they put him on that stretcher to wheel him out, he was still
He was.
crying.
We watched him go out of our sight crying. And I'm like, you don't think you need to hold on to God now? That was tough.
That was the worst day of our life.
That was tough. That was really tough. But anyway,
But they took him and told us it would be
they told us it would be like, I thought it said about an 8-hour surgery.
So we sat there, and every couple hours they would call you and let you know everything's going good and all this. But I want to say around 6 hours,
Or
maybe.
it might not have been quite 6 hours. Yeah.
They came out and said, "We're through," and we were like, "But
And by this time, Robbie Lynn,
My
Barbara's
mama.
sister, your mama, and my brother-in-law had gotten there. And they were in the waiting room with us when they got there. But the doctor came out, the surgeon came out. I never forget his name. You remember what it was?
no,
Dr. McGillicuddy.
okay."
Dr. McGillicuddy came out.
But
the
all the
surgeon.
nurses were raving about how good he was. He was the best one on the team or whatever.
Yeah, the surgeon.
Yeah.
He was top notch, and that's who I wanted working on my son. So he comes out, McGillicuddy, and said, Bradley got a really good kidney. He said on a scale from 1 to 100, 1 being the best, 100 being the worst, he got a score of 9.
Was it 9? I thought it was 4.
No, it was 9. It was
It
9.
was
'Cause
right way
nurse
up.
it was just in the like 10%.
Yeah.
So it was on a 9 on a scale from 1 to 100, 1 being the best. His was a 9.
And he said the surgery went perfect.
Very
Everything
well.
went perfect.
Yeah. So that's how it pretty much all went down for us. The process of getting there. Once we got there, the things we dealt with, all the emotional roller coaster ride. But okay,
And
had
then
the
once
surgery.
he gets out, you're thinking, "Oh Lord, now how we take care of him?"
Well, you think that, but here's the deal. We had other people come, and I won't call all their names. It was people in the community. They would come. They came down there to visit us. They were praying for us. They felt
that
for
Sunday.
us. They were some of them came and that was when we just met Brother R too. Remember he came down there.
Yeah,
Remember?
2015.
Yep. We just met him. My dear friend, Brother Ard and Sister Gwen, well, he came down and visited somebody. He came and visited Bradley. But there were other people that came, and they would come call me outside, and they'd hand me money. I mean,
And back then we had a lady in our church, and was it her daughter or son? Son and daughter-in-law.
her son and daughter-in-law lived in Charleston.
Right outside Charleston. And they came by and visited with us and told us if we needed anything, if we needed her to take our clothes and wash them or whatever, that she would be willing to do it. And
So hold that thought.
all kinds of people came. And
All right. Remember what Robin just told you. All kinds of people came, and this was Miss Brown's family.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. They lived down like she just said. Okay.
her grandson, it was her grandson.
Was it a grandson?
Yeah.
Okay, and his wife. Really nice people. All right. So, okay, the surgery's done. He's in recovery, and he comes out. And like I said, I'll put some pictures in at the end just to show you a little bit of the pictures we were looking at, that you'll be looking at, what we were going through in the little video of Bradley ringing the bell. But while we're still at the hospital during that week, she gets sick with some kind of virus. I mean, you want to explain that, how you felt, what that was?
That's the worst virus I've ever had.
See, this time all the family's already gone back home. It's just myself, Rob Lynn, and Bradley left in Charleston. Well, she gets sick, and they had already stripped his immune system down to be able to do the kidney transplant. So he didn't need to be around anything like that. So she had to wear a mask and stay away from him. So that puts it all on me.
That was like maybe 2 or 3 days into it.
Yeah. So here I am now taking care of her, sick. I'm talking about she was nauseated, throwing up. She couldn't hold her head up. I don't know what it was. And then I had to take care of getting Bradley back and forth. It was time for us to leave. So
I was still about to
she was still like that. So we had to leave the hospital though, because it was time for him he was doing so good. So, but we couldn't.
They did offer to keep him an extra day because I was so sick.
Yeah, but
we chose to go to the motel.
But we didn't come home. We went to motel.
You had to stay in a motel because you had to go back and forth every day to get, what was it they gave him? Some kind of infusion.
Yeah.
To continue to deplete
his immune system.
Yeah.
Because his immune system would fight the kidney off and he wouldn't receive it. So anyway, that's why we stayed there. When we got to the motel, there we are hungry.
I wasn't hungry.
She's sick. Well, I was hungry. She wasn't hungry. And Bradley, I had to be there with him. I couldn't leave him. I couldn't leave her. And
he kept throwing up his meds.
He did.
Remember?
He did.
And they had a traveling nurse that would come to check on us in the motel.
She was really nice.
She gave us the best advice that I don't know why we didn't think about it, in a way to keep his medicine down. And that's when he started to mix it in with some lemonade. Yeah. So
we were just trying to give it to him straight or give it to him.
That was a lot because he had to take the liquid because he didn't understand how to swallow the pills.
Yeah. And at that time, they had him on a lot more medication than he's on now.
On a list of medications.
Now he's on 2 liquid meds and 1 pill. But, so she came and talked with us about that. Well, we remembered Miss Brown's family, the grandson, and his wife. And I called them, just told them, said, look, you asked us to call. I hate to call, but we are in need. And I told them we would like, if they had time, they could run by and just grab something to eat and drop it off. I'd appreciate it. They said, no problem, we'll take care of that. Well, she called me when she got downstairs at the motel. So I did leave Bradley and Roblin just enough to run down there, and I figured just grab a bag of food and bring him back up. I got down there, y'all. They was driving an SUV, like a Suburban. They had that back of that Suburban packed full of groceries. They'd been to the grocery store. I don't know what name of that grocery store. You seen the bags?
No, Publix.
Publix, that's right. They went there and filled up the back, and not filled up. They had a
lot of bags.
many bags of groceries.
Big enough to fit up luggage cart.
Yeah, the luggage cart. I couldn't tote it all back up. I had to put it on the luggage cart to get it on the elevator to get it back to the room. I mean, they had everything you could think of.
They even sent medicine to settle my stomach.
They did. They were really nice. So God sends what you need when you need it. So
and that motel we stayed at, that bed was like heaven once we got it because we have been sleeping on a
couch. Me and her both
fold-out couch or whatever. And he was at one end, I was at the other, feet in each other's faces, and that's how we had to sleep. So
for almost a week.
When we got back there, that was one of the best sleeping mattresses.
It was. But anyway, they brought the food. I was able to get something to eat, and I can't remember.
I was still on ginger ale and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they brought so many groceries that we didn't even, we ate a good many of them while we were there. When she started feeling better, started eating some of it, but we brought a lot of it home with us, home back to Darlington home. So, let's see. So, and then they released us. When they released us, I wanted to, that's in the article too. I wanted to meet and thank Officer
Highway
Brown.
Patrol came back.
Yeah, and Officer Basal.
That's
Highway
when
Patrol.
the news media and all met us there too.
They met us at MUSC the day we were leaving to come home, and that's a picture of it right here. I might try to take a picture of it. I might do that as a thumbnail. I don't know if it's good enough. But anyway, you read the article, you'll see all that in there, I think. But the news media, they interviewed us with these guys standing right behind us. We met them, thanked them, had a good little reunion with them before we hit the road and headed back home. And then later on, he's getting tired. When later on,
like, Daddy, hurry up.
and later on, in April is when they recognized these guys and presented them with that Transplant Angel Award. Mm-hmm. And now they do that since 2015 with Bradley's incident. They do this now once a year to a deserving state trooper that's helping other people. But these two guys, that was my wording to the lady at the news, was these guys were angels on the interstate. We needed them because
he's been recognized since then too. He's been State Trooper of the Year and all.
State Trooper of the Year, and then that was in 2015 with us. Well, 2014, he had located a kidnapped victim they found in the trunk of a car. I read that earlier too by Officer Brown. So
he's one like, you got nurses and then you got nurses, you got cops and then you got cops. He's a real.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them are. Yeah.
They didn't do their job just to get money. They done their job because they love their job.
They love their job. They love helping people, and we felt like they were family with us. We kind of got a bond there that you'll always have. As a matter of fact, I need to try to reach out to them again. But anyway, let's see what else we need to tell them about that. Because I'm gonna share some pictures and that little video, and you gonna share that. We're gonna share the link at the end of this, where they can go find it themselves.
But then after the transplant, you got a book. And you had to have that book every time you go, and he had to go like every, I don't know how many, twice a week.
Trip to Charleston.
Back and forth. They had to keep the lab work going all the time.
Yeah.
It was.
And they had to keep tweaking his medicine. Remember, it would get.
You depleted every sick day and everything else.
I did. I used
I
used up every vacation day, every sick, anything I had at work. I had to use it all.
It was just a big, big, big ordeal. But every time he's went back, there has been no issue with anything other than tweaking his anti-rejection meds. That's it. No other. And we'd meet other people in the waiting room. They were having problems with this, problems with that, and it's nothing but God.
Nothing but God. He
hadn't had 1 ounce of trouble.
And he's doing, as you can see now, he's doing really good now. He's done keep catching up a beat on that gut.
He's plumped up quite a bit.
He's plumped up, and his his energy changed, y'all. His complexion changed. The only thing that's not been his benefit is his.
He gained weight and lost his hair.
He gained weight. He's got a little bare spot right there. The medicine, I think, has caused his hair to fall out. But he's still got a lot real thick around here. But I just gave him a haircut 2 days ago. But he's real thin up top right there. But you think about all that with us being down there with him, but Gavin and Brad and Michaela, Gavin and Corey and Michaela went through a lot too with us being away for a whole week. And we thank our family and other family, friends of the family that helped us out, taking care of them and keeping everything rolling back here at home while we were down taking care of Bradley.
Yeah, because we didn't have a choice.
Nope. But that's kind of the story, and there's a lot more we could say, but sake of time with this video, we're going to wrap it up. But I do want you to please click on that link and read that article. That article, if it does you like it does me, it'll bring tears to your eyes. And watch those videos. You can see the look on my face and Rob Lynn's face as we're looking over Bradley when he was in the hospital there recuperating. And they would, like she said, they were nurses down there. That male nurse, I can't remember his name. He's in one of the pictures there looking over.
Adam.
I don't know, looking over Bradley's shoulder, but
he knew sign. He could talk to Bradley.
Yeah, he could talk to Bradley. He knew signing in his hand.
He was real good.
Yeah. Just so much compassion down there at MUSC in Charleston. They really took good care of us. And God worked another miracle in Bradley's life and ours.
And if you're not a donor,
that's another thing. I became a donor after my son
received. A lot of our family did.
Yep, a lot of our family did.
Because see, to begin with, we were going to do we were going to try to get a family member to give him a kidney. and we had several people that
were going to do it.
and I don't think anybody matched.
Nobody matched. Yeah.
So he did get a living. They said it's better if they get a living donor's kit, as far as like taking it straight out the person and giving it to you. They say that's a better choice. But
Oh yeah, instead of somebody deceased, passed
but
away.
you know, I guess obviously it's still good.
Yeah, but he's doing good, and we thank y'all for your prayers. And we've been wanting to share this for a while. And this video's 30 minutes now. It's a little bit long, but hopefully you enjoyed it because it's real stuff, and God really moved in a mighty way, and for that we're very grateful. So check out the pictures here at the end, the little short video of him ringing that bell, that transplant bell, and please go read that article. And if you can't find that article or don't show up, let us know in the comments below, and we'll try to do something different. But we're going to post that link so y'all can go read that article. That'll do you a lot of good, explaining everything. But I think that's all we got. Leave some comments below. Let us know what you think about this story and if it touched you or not. And we appreciate you praying for Farmer Bradley. And thanks to Officer Basal and Officer Brown. That's why y'all get to see Farmer Bradley on YouTube today, because of their sacrifice and their efforts to get him there on time. Anything else you want to add, Robbie Lynn? All right, Bradley. All right, Bradley.
Tell them bye.
Tell him bye.
Bye,
Bye, talking camera.
talking to my girlfriend April was sick.
His girlfriend April's been sick. That's
didn't
right.
get to see
He
April
didn't get to
for
see her at Christmas. He's hoping to get to see her for Valentine's Day. So y'all be praying about that. Hope this blessed you today. But until next time, y'all remember, Jesus Christ loves you.
And Jesus Christ is the answer for any and everything you're going through in life.
Amen. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.
I got